What's going on, gang? How y'all feeling? Hope you guys are having an amazing week. And yes, I know people's finances is all over the place. People's financial status is in question at jobs, people's job status, people's employment status, people's relationship status, people's familial ties is no longer familial. Friends is turning into enemies out here real fast. People that you may have grown up with and thought you had your best interests at heart, and vice versa, may show you their true colors. And at the end of the day, we just smile and keep moving. Smile and keep it going. Because we got options. Shout out to Earth Gang. That new joint is crazy. Wale, his verse is alright, but the track is fire. And the music video takes it over the top. They could have did without the Wale verse, but I understand. I sound like one of those verses you do if you ain't been rhyming it mad long. And you got, one of your mans was like, yo, get on this joint. You was like, I got you. And it ended up blowing. And yeah. So, it's his Ghetto Point of View. We bring you the news, views, previews, and reviews, just a twist of his Ghetto Point of View. That track is fire though. If you haven't heard it, Earth Gang Options. Shout out to J. Cole for having the foresight and frame of mind to, along with his business partners, bring Earth Gang, JID, and the rest of that crew under the label and really expand his product offering. Boss is dope. But JID and Earth Gang just bring a different level of sauce, different complexity, different flavors, different colors. And it's really good, man. I like their music a lot. I feel like, they do a lot of different playing around with their voices, with melodies. Not afraid to be silly, not afraid to be laughed at, not afraid to just have a good time on the track. And that's very much needed. That is very much needed. So, yes, guys, in spite of the people getting evicted from their homes, in spite of people losing their lives, in spite of people losing their jobs, in spite of people, losing their fortunes, losing their loved ones, I hope you had a good week. Whatever lesson you learned this week, I hope that lesson eventually turns into a blessing. Whatever heartache you went through this week, I hope you can heal from and move forward. And I hope that battle scar just hardens you and toughens your armor. It just makes you much more ready for the next big event, the next big moment, the next big blessing in your life. Because we all going through it now. I don't think anybody's excluded, Black, white, rich or poor, male or female, and others, I don't think anybody's excluded right now. This is an interesting moment in time. Some people will call this the Great Reset, Great Conjunction. A moment when we all get to just hit that button on the system. Boop. Start back fresh with all your quarters. How would you like that? What would you do with that opportunity? What would you do with the opportunity to just hit reset? Some people feel that opportunity is coming up in about 6 hours. Some people feel that opportunity is coming up in about 6 hours. What are you gonna do? You can really reset. Hit that button on the PC. Hit that button on the Sega Genesis. Boop. Hit that button on the P4. Boop. Hit that button on the P5. Boop. Just restart. What if you could open up? You could take the keys, open up the bottom of the arcade machine where all the quarters drop, and get your $3 back. Get your 4 quarters back. I'm being greedy. I only came in there with $1, and then when I got the keys to the machine, I took $3 out. I'm trifling, y'all. I'm trifling as fuck. But you know, I love y'all, because you know y'all accept me for my faults and all. You know, so I'm growing. I'm getting better. I'm sorry. I dropped $1 in the machine. I took out $3.50. You know, I just like the game so much. It is what it is. Anyway, how have you guys been? How was your week, man? How did that go for you? I hope it was enjoyable. I hope if you had, again, a rough one, that battle scar just become armor for you and shield you and help you elevate. That you move quicker, jump faster, swing harder, pray louder. Saying triumph over all the next time. And I really mean that. Because you ain't getting nothing else from his Ghetto Point of View. Please understand that, you know, we all warriors out here, men and women alike. Some of our most legendary warriors throughout history have all been females. Some of the greatest military minds, some of the most elite warrior royalty, were all women. I'm not just talking about, those women that was in Black Panther. Nah, I mean, yes, you can definitely look at the group of women that, you know, some people call the Amazons, the Dahomey Amazons, the Dahomey. You could definitely look at them. Look at the Amazons, of course. You know, the other groups in history as well. There's African queens who were warrior queens, were known as Kandakis or the Candaces. You know, there's a lot of I guess letters or documents of communication back and forth between particular Candaces and, you know, leaders of European militaries and European empires who all had to respect, kowtow, and pay homage to the military might of a ton of strong female rulers who will also chop your head off. Not playing, shoot a rifle, cold-blooded. And so when I say we all warriors, or we all have the potential to be warriors, I mean man, woman, whatever you identify as. You know what I'm saying? All my brothers and sisters out here, we warriors. Warriors, you know? Don't ever let that shit slip your mind. Don't ever let that point go without taking a moment to really take that in and understand what that means, and understand how that can make you feel like, yo, like you were built for the tough times. You were built to combat issues in your life. You were built to make it happen. You were built to rule. You were built to not rule easy, neither. Rule in times of war. Rule in times of peace as well. But when it's war, you a warrior. You a Kendaki. You a Candy. You an Amazon. Pharaoh. You got it. If you want it. Because it ain't for everybody. And there's a reason only few people really make it and really succeed at anything in life. Consistency, you know what I'm saying? Like constantly getting to it, constantly putting it up, constantly showing up and showing out, being reliable, independent, and becoming known for that. Like it's really impressive when somebody could score 50 points one game out of 82, if we want to make a basketball NBA reference. It's very impressive to score 53 points one game out of 82. But what's more impressive, 53 points in one game out of 82, or somebody who can average 34 for the season? I'll take the person that averaged 34 for the season any day, because that means from rain or shine. 9 times out of 10, that brother gonna go to work. That sister gonna go to work. They gonna bring it every goddamn night. Sunrise to sunset. They think about ways they can get better, improve, refine their craft, and get it the fuck in. How do you not appreciate people like that? People like that are what makes this world great. People like that are what makes everybody else go. The people like that, they become the innovators, the creators, the dictators, the deal makers, the room breakers, the earth shakers. They make the amazing speeches. They get the statues. They get to live forever. What are you doing to live forever? Don't tell me no nonsense, neither. What are you doing to live forever? What are you doing to make your mark? Have you asked yourself that lately? With all this beautiful energy coming in now. I mean, if you ain't gonna ask yourself now, then when? If not now, when? If not who, you? If not you, then who? If not now, when? If not you, well then who? Who would you like to be? Who would you like it to be? Who do you want to get all the accolades? Who do you want to be exalted? Huh? And being exalted and getting all the accolades is different for different people. There's levels to this thing, you know what I'm saying? Whatever you want to do in life, whether that be being a philanthropist and doing all these amazing coat drives and toy giveaways and book bag giveaways and give backs and clothing drops, food drops. If you want to be the dopest banker in the world, want to be the best coder, best UX designer, data analyst, marketing, digital market manager, digital market researcher, entrepreneur, whatever you want to do, if you are not taking the steps to do that now, will you ever? What you afraid of? Winning? You afraid of success? You afraid of getting to it? What you afraid of? What you think gonna happen? You think you gonna fail? I think most of us are even more scared that we might be amazing at something. Because if you're amazing now, you are expected to come with with that heat on a consistent basis. If you really are amazing, you're expected to deliver all the time. If you're really good, are you scared of the level of commitment that it would take for you to take your talents and showcase them at the level that they deserve? The commitment of time, the sacrifice of friends and family, of partying, of BSing your time away, Netflix and chilling with that new girl you just got a number. Are you afraid of what success would look like? Long nights on the road alone. Long nights at the office alone. Long nights at the operating table. You the one gotta make those incisions. You the one that has to instruct the whole team. Long nights of coding. Early mornings of crunching numbers and watching stocks, shares, and crypto exchanges. Are you afraid of what success would look like? Flights back and forth to check on your different stores for your different clothing brands. Unexpected flights to Japan and China when things are not being produced to manufacture to be delivered on time. Those harsh phone calls, those late nights, those early mornings. What's a weekend? What's a holiday? Missing birthdays. Some of us really ain't afraid to fail. Some of us know we are talented as fuck. Amazing. Could probably really change the game in several different fields. But the commitment that would take is just not something we're up to. That's why you should really have a passion for whatever you into. Get into stuff you really, really, really have a passion for. So when you gotta study it all day and all night, and it don't matter. It feel regular. It feel normal. It feel like what you're supposed to be doing. It feel like nothing in the world is better. When you got those things that you love to that degree, the work is nothing. The work is absolutely nothing. It's not work at all. You hear that from people who are very successful and they failed. Yo, I never worked a day in my life. I never worked a day in my goddamn life. It's cause they're dope. They're dope at what they do. They dope at their craft. They're putting in the work, putting in the time and the energy and the concentrated levels of focus and determination on a consistent basis. When you're really passionate about what it is, when you geek out on it, when you're a nerd of it, when you're so in love with whatever that particular thing is, or those things are, if you're multiverse and a few things to that degree, that's when it's not work. That's when it's just a good time. That's when it's just an enjoyable vibe. That's when you could do it all day and night and not be tired and not care, not feel away, and just be happy to continue consistently all the time, because it feels like home. It feels like home. Home is a good feeling. The smells of home, the sounds of home, the scent, the sights. Everything about home. It brings out the kid in us. So when you have a particular profession that makes you feel like home, no matter how many hours you've put in, you still feel like you could crack a smile. You might have not slept in a day or two. You might be cranky as hell, but you there. You're there for it. You're not going anywhere. that's when you're home. That's when you're home, and when you will find the most success in your life from home. When whatever you do in life feels like home. Watch the switch. Watch how you elevate. Watch how you grow. Watch how it comes. Now, does that mean you shouldn't do things that are quote unquote not in demand or what have you? No, of course you should. You should definitely look into the in demand things as times roll on and how we going into the new age and the new era and the new jobs. You should look into all that. But whatever you do, I guarantee you, there'll be some type of new version of that going forward into the future. Find your passions mixed with technology, because every single passion is going to move forward into the future in some form. If you're a chef, there's going to be chefing apps, there's going to be chefing websites, there's going to be chef everything. There's probably already apps for people to teach people how to be chefs right from their phone or right from their phone or from their smart device. So if you look at different apps that could do that, if they already exist, dope. If they don't exist, something to look into. Or if they do exist, and you can put yourself or avail yourself of those platforms and the following they may have, awesome. But if they don't have that much of a following or yet for your demographic of the type of food you're making or the type of chefs that follow you, boom, now you have a new platform with which to communicate with those people and get them more directly their content. I mean, and the list goes on and on. For every type of profession or gig out here, it will translate into the digital world in some form of capacity if it's a skilled kind of gig. What do I mean by a skilled kind of gig? Skilled labor you really had to take some time to study, that you're still studying, that you're still upgrading your skills and your chops every day. That could be anything from a mechanic, a plumber, AV person, to all the way up to somebody who's an attorney, a lawyer, a doctor. Skilled labor combined with technology has an easier chance, to roll over into the future versus somebody who might just, be into just construction without have taken the time to also possibly go to school for engineering or to get at least some of the certifications on their belt. Just more like somebody who's on the labor side of it. And salute to you guys, because your work you do is amazing and is very much needed. And a lot of those dudes actually may have some of the technical skills as well, but they just may never have taken the time to get the paperworks. But the craziness about the society we live in is a lot of them paperworks. While in some communities and some people's minds, they absolutely don't matter. Even in some rich motherfuckers' minds, rich mofos' minds, that stuff really don't matter. But on a wide enough scale, in certain arenas, that stuff kind of really plays a big role in whether they want to do business with you or not. And you just have to ask yourself, can your business thrive without the potential interactions with that group of people who only want to do business with people that they feel have the right type of paper qualifications? Maybe not necessarily all of the hands-on skills that somebody who doesn't have it may have, but the paper qualifications. Can your business survive without dealing with people who only want to hire those with experience plus papers? Quite possibly, definitely. Businesses survive with all different type of customer retention models. And as you gonna hear in my interview with Ashè Koran, which is a dope interview. that's going to come on in a few minutes. Just CRMs, the customer retention models. It's just a fancy way of saying, how you hold on to customers, how you get somebody to go from a fan to, buying and supporting with their dollars and their time and they, clicks, and then how you get them to constantly do that repeatedly, and how you get them so in love with your products that they share them organically themselves. You know what I'm saying? So just the way to keep building the relationship over and over with a fan or with a client, and make them stay in love with you and what you do, by staying innovative and kind of pretty much keeping yourself in the front of their mind, because out of sight, out of mind is very real. But yeah, guys, this is his Ghetto Point of View, where you get the news, views, previews, and reviews. But just a twist of his Ghetto Point of View. It's been a hell of a week. So let's get Lil Wayne. This whole situation is getting worse and worse. So now it's Lil Wayne had to give up the rights to his masters, the portions that he owned, plus the portions of Young Money masters that were in his possession, that were part of his ownership catalog, that of various Young Money artists, including Drake and Nicki Minaj, for the alleged $100 million price tag. I think that's kind of crazy. Lil Wayne has always struck me as a very intelligent businessman. So I want to reserve full judgment on this and give that man a moment to cook and work, and let me see what next thing he flips and manifests out of this. But if I've been giving Lil Wayne entirely too much credit as a businessman, and it should really just be reserving that credit for his prowess on the mic and his hip-hop abilities, somebody needs to let me the hell know, because oh man, I thought if he wasn't directly that astute about these things, that he at least had a good team around him. And now I'm starting to not even be sure about that, because this is insane what's happening. I don't understand this one bit at all. It makes absolutely no sense to me. Wayne, Nicki, and Drake, those three people alone, and all you get is $100 million in publishing money. Like, you sold the publishing. So for those that may not be aware of publishing, publishing rights, that alludes to the ownership part that a particular person will have for writing the song. That might not be the recording artist or the person that actually performs the song that you would hear on the radio or in a movie or in a video game, but it may be the person that just wrote the song. Sometimes the person who writes the song is not always also the person who performs the song, who is a recording artist also a performance artist. You have a person who's a songwriter or a composer who writes lyrics or in words, hooks, or somebody who also composes music. Also, what some people might call a producer or a beat maker. So different titles, different labels, but just the most important takeaway is the person who writes the song, songwriter, person who performs the song to record a record is recording or performance artist, just known as a recording artist, just to make it easy for the definitions we're trying to create with what we talking about here. So you got the writing part, the writing share of the money that would go whenever the record is played, used in a movie, used in a song, used in a commercial, remixed. You got that part of the money being sold back from Wayne, from Nicki, from Drake, and I'm hearing possibly other Young Money artists writes the other Young Money, the other pieces of the Young Money catalog, which Lil Wayne had possession of, were all a part of this deal. If that's the case, wow, man. I mean, all I can say about that is absolutely wow. I'm beyond disgusted. Wayne, what are you doing? Listen, I'm not in that man's pockets. I'm not pocket watching, but I have a very hard time believing somebody who comes across so intellectually astute, or at least somebody who's been smart enough to put a good team around him that keeps him abreast on things, to have him sounding good out here, would not also have good accountants, good business managers. To some degree, you can't trust anybody ever, especially the higher you go up in this game. It's very hard to find people who are not going to be completely just around you just for what you can do for them, without trying to who some will of course operate with integrity and want to keep their names in the business good, but there are far too many who would use you and your title and your busy schedule to get you to sign off on things and give them power to make decisions and authorize things to go to their personal benefit. It's a dirty business all around, either way, no matter what you're doing. But yeah, I have a very hard time believing that he would not know that would be worth more, or if he was in such dire straits, how he couldn't leverage some type of loan deal, temporary leasing of those rights, because it's in the same catalog. I don't imagine there's not quite a few publishers who would have taken the opportunity to just rent or borrow that catalog, so at some point the catalog could return and just keep doing that as you need it. You know what I'm saying? This is, very smart dude. I'm sure he's gonna do some type of flips and make some things happen, and we'll just wait and see from there. But this is his Ghetto Point of View, man. We bring you the news, views, previews, and reviews. Just a twist of his Ghetto Point of View. And my Ghetto Point of View is I would not have done that shit, bro. I'm about ownership to the end of the day, to the day I die. Like, I don't care. Give me this slow dough. Slow dough better than no dough. Let that shit come in with some flow. You know what I'm saying? Shout to 50 Cent. But you ain't got no dude. Y'all niggas so. That's right. Yeah, man. Like, give me that steady check. Like, give me that. Let that come in every quarter, every semi-annually. You know what I'm saying? Every 4 months, every 3 months. Biannually, every 6 months, once a year. I don't care. I'm not selling. I'm Wayne. I can leverage some debts until the end of the year, or to get some finances off of me. I can do it. I'm very confident that this could have been done. Like, I'm not saying I was in his shoes. I know exactly what his situation was, but I'm very confident of the right business manager would have been able to buy him some time and leverage his name and his rights for a temporary situation. So I'm just not sure what the need was for such a permanent sale, if I'm reading it right, and if that's that's accurate. And of so many amazing prominent artists who could easily have probably gotten $100 a piece, if not higher, for selling their own catalogs. So I'm very interested as to how this makes sense. But yeah, we're gonna get right into this interview. Got Ashè Koran, minister in the Nation of Islam, dope hip hop artist, young spitter, flames over the tracks. You might have seen this brother selling a Final Call newspaper, or giving a message to some young kids. You might have seen this brother all over the internet, lighting it up, opening up for bigger acts. Dude is doing a lot of great work out here for the nation, with the youth, with the community, and also in the hip hop world and through the music. The dude is really having a amazing moment. Um, I'm here for it as somebody who's a representative of Brooklyn and hip hop from Brooklyn, but also just as somebody that really likes to see what he's doing and where he's going with it, and watch somebody that's a master of the craft just get into it. It was a dope interview. We touched on a lot of different things. It's really dope. You're really gonna like it. Let's get into that. This is his Ghetto Point of View. Please continue to like, share, and subscribe to the show. Tell a friend and tell a friend. Wednesdays and Sundays is when we get it in. Any questions, as always, his Ghetto Point of View at gmail.com is the place you can reach us. His Ghetto Point of View at gmail.com. HISGHETTOPOINT. His Ghetto Point of View at gmail.com. Gonna get into this Ashè Koran interview, and we'll be right back. Cheers. Hello, hello. Hello.
Can you hear me? Hello?
Yes, sir. How are you, good brother?
There you go. I'm good. How are you?
Oh man, this is definitely a treat, man, and an honor. I'm well, good sir. Thank you for asking. How's everything going on your end?
As good as it can. COVID and everything happening, man. We just keeping things tight. Just keeping it safe, man. Can't complain, man. Just
Absolutely.
blessed to see another day, man.
That's it. That's it. Brother Ash, aka Ashè Koran in the building. What's going on, good brother? How's everything going, please, man? Uh,
Man, bro.
fir- first and foremost, man, I hope everything's well on the personal front. Like, you and the fam good, and everything's well with the home team.
Most definitely. Yeah, man. We've been doing our fair share quarantine and all that. We go out sometime, make sure we masked up and everything. Everybody's good by the grace of God, man.
That's it. That's it. That's it.
You good, my
That's
brother? How you,
uh,
man? How you and the fam, man?
oh man, ups and downs, man. The vicissitudes, as they would call it. But we get through it one day at a time, man. Just keep putting one foot in front of the other, and just get through it together as a team, And I think that's the best thing about having fans.
That's a fact. Yeah, it's
That's
been
what's
a minute, brother. It's been a minute,
yes,
man. Long
sir,
overdue, man.
man. I see you revving up though, and you getting to it, man. You've always been one that's been a wordsmith and a rhyme slayer, but I see that you really have been taking things up to a whole different level over these past, I would say, 12 to 18 months. Like I've seen like a progressive growth and development, the creativity with the visuals, the rhymes and the beat selection has always been there, but just really enhancing all that just by really getting it out to people with the aesthetic and the I guess the presentation that people need to really latch on in our digital environment. And I gotta say, man, that's very dope.
Praise be to the Most High, man. Like definitely, man. And it's one thing when you just have something in your mind that you want to get out so bad, and it's like you haven't rolled it out 100% yet. It's like I feel like there's so much more in me to to give. There's so many more ideas to get out. And this COVID thing just really slowed things down, which was good. Just caused me to stop and reassess some things. But yeah,
Mm,
man, like you said, I'm definitely just revving up, getting ready, man. Like I haven't even scratched the surface of what I really intend on doing, man. But inshallah, man, I'll definitely get there.
that's a fact. That's a fact. Now,
for those, me personally, I've seen your growth and development since back in the days of Cabo. But for those who don't know, and those who may be just through this interview being introduced to you and your wave, please take us back, man. That what what initially sparked that love of hip hop in you, and like what made you first figure out like, yo, I'm actually not too shabby with this. I'm better than your average Yogi Bear, and I could really see myself
Right,
making
right.
an impact through this art form.
Man, to be honest, I always love rap music, man, since like the 80s. My
Mm,
uncles, they would be listening to rap. Um, my pops had a tape of the Ghetto Boys at the house. And
wow.
yeah, that always stuck with me. And
Mm,
it was one of the tracks, my mom playing tricks on me. That was
mm,
like one of my best joints,
that's a
Bushwick
classic.
Bill, Scarface. I'm like they was going in. And
Mm,
and I don't know, man. Like it's like sometimes things is just in your blood, man. And my pops, he always listened to music. He's actually in a band himself, singer, play the guitar, play the piano. So I just
nice.
grew up in a musical household. So it was only a matter of
Okay.
time. But
Right. Right.
long story short, man, like it got to a certain point, man. One of my friends actually was freestyling. He's a brother I grew up with. He's in the Nation of Islam too. We was actually at an event of Minister Farrakhan was speaking, but we was just kind of, we was just kicking it, chilling, and he was just freestyling the whole day, just freestyling, freestyling. And although I was such a huge fan of rap music, I never ever thought, not one time, like, yo, maybe I should write my own stuff. But it wasn't
Mm,
until that day where a friend of mine was, he was rhyming, he was going in, and on a ride back home, I still remember like it was yesterday. On the ride back home, a thought just came in my mind, like, yo, hold up, I could write my own stuff. From that night, bro, it was a wrap, bro. Next day,
mm,
went in the library, wrote some bars, and I just never looked back, man. And just kept going, man. And I just love like the form of expression because I've always been like a shy kind of dude, like kind of sit in the background. I be there, I'll be in the group, but I won't be the most outspoken one. I'll just be there, just chilling, vibing. Everybody call me like Snoop. Everybody call me like a laid back Snoop, because I just had that kind of vibe about me. But that rap, when I started writing, man, it just gave me another room or another avenue to express myself and just to get some things out of me, man. And next thing you know, I'm in front of crowds, I'm in front of audiences, and I'm not even fearful of anything. And it was
mm.
just a great, great avenue for me to reach the people like that.
That's very dope, man. That's excellent. You also brought up the fact that you a member of the nation. Do you feel that a that the being in the nation now before I even jump to that question, just to rewind a little bit, were you brought up in the nation originally, or like have you been a member of the nation your whole life? Please elaborate on that real quick if you don't mind.
Good question. My moms and pops, they they was pretty much born in a nation, and I
Beautiful.
was born in a nation as well. So, I always was at the mosque, always was around. But at a certain point, it took for me to choose it for myself. So I say maybe
Yeah.
around like 13 or whatnot. I was like, yo, yeah, this is where I want to be, man. Like I had it was a great group of brothers that I really enjoy being around, man. And I was like, you know what, I'm gonna I'm gonna choose this for myself, because that's the thing. Like,
Mm,
there's a lot of people that's born into something, but you still gotta choose it, because when you born into it, that's your parents' choice for you. But at a certain point, you gotta come to the realization, like in your adult life, like, okay, yeah, I'm gonna stick with it. So yeah, I
mm.
definitely made that choice around like my teenage years.
Beautiful. So you saw the personal benefits, like you said, like there's a difference between your moms or your dad making you go to church every Sunday or being a part of an organization or
Right.
even growing up into something versus like, okay, as you get older, you get wiser, you start seeing the world through different goggles, and you're like, yeah, you found, that was the place you belonged as well. It made sense for you on a personal level. That's dope.
Facts. Yep. Yep. It was it was
Beautiful,
it
man.
was
So
just like, it was
I'm
just
sorry.
time. It was just time.
No, definitely, definitely. So was that in Brooklyn at the time, or where were you at that time?
I'm sorry, say that again, bro.
Was your family in Brooklyn at that time, or where were you staying
Oh
at that
yeah,
time?
definitely is in Brooklyn. Definitely is in Brooklyn.
That's
Yeah,
beautiful.
yeah. Spent matter of fact, man, my damn near my whole life we was in Brooklyn.
Mm,
So yeah, definitely.
that's what's up. Do you feel that that Brooklyn energy has played a part in uh just how you've grown up as a man? I mean, because brother, to give you your flowers while you here, you one of the most stand up individuals I've ever had the pleasure of, knowing and growing up around, and just seeing you as you've evolved from afar, into the man that you become today, a rep of the nation, a father figure, an amazing artist. Like just seeing your growth and evolution. I just want to throw you your flowers, King. You're definitely one of the
Appreciate it,
very
bro.
most stand up dudes. I know out of the city. And do you feel that Brooklyn energy has had a part in molding you at all, and molding the way you do your music?
Man.
Like, because you definitely got some lyrical sauce when you come at them. And do you feel that that's just a requirement as being a BK rep, or like what's your take on that?
Yeah, bro. You already know, bro. You can't grow up in Brooklyn, man, and not be influenced in some way, shape, or form. Whether it's the bad or the good. Like, and I always felt
Mm,
like I was more like a Nas, like I wouldn't be involved in a lot of the stuff going on, but I would see it and I will
cool.
understand it from a distance and use it to, to inform my decisions and my actions. So yeah, man, growing up, it was a little crazy, man. I mean, you already know it was crazy, man. Like sometimes, man, you don't know what's gonna pop off. That's the thing. Like between you getting from your house to the school or to the store, whatever, anything could pop off. Like you talking about, it could go to a knife fight, or it could be guns drawn. It can go there, like within a blink of an eye. So, definitely you got to move a certain way, and having that, built into me, naturally it just comes out into the music. I actually did a rap for the Brooklyn Challenge, for the So Brooklyn Challenge, and bro, I kid you not, like I listened to that today, and I'm just like, wow.
Mm,
I'm just like, yo, this is crazy, and I'm just thinking about it and the reality of it, and I'm like, man, this is how it was. Like this is real, this ain't no made up stuff. Like I ain't trying to like be somebody. Like this is actually 100% real. So definitely, man, there's no way I could separate the upbringing in Brooklyn from the art form, man. It go hand in hand.
well said. Well said. Oh, so okay, so you got the Brooklyn upbringing that definitely gave you molded you into a particular individual. Then you start picking up the mic. When did you first start taking it seriously? Like, what was the first project that you put out, or the first single when you was like, "Yo, this is really starting to go in a direction that I wanted to. People are starting to notice my craft and my love for this art form."
One, I think it was, what year was that? I don't remember what year it was. I think it was like 2013 at the
Mm,
Brooklyn Hip Hop Fest when
mm,
Jay Electronica came through.
wow.
It was, bro, the event was crazy, man. And I still remember like the whole thing. Well, basically, me and my brothers had got the invite to come and drill. One of my close brothers, brother Alton, who's the DI, he actually was tapped in order for us to do a drill performance. For those who don't know what drill is, it's basically like well, it's the closest thing I can give you to understand it is like how the frats meet up and they do they stepping.
Yes,
It's
sir.
not it's like stepping, but with a more militant component.
Military, more of a
Yeah,
military exercise to it. Yes, sir.
exactly, exactly. So, we went and we drilled. After we drilled, Jay Electronica pretty much had us with him the whole day. So we're there on the
Wow.
stage, Mac Miller, may Allah be pleased with him. He was on the stage.
Word. R.I.P.
J.
man.
Cole, yep. Um, a lot of people, he brought up, and a lot of people was there. So I had Prince, Raekwon. It was just big hip hop energy that day, man. And
Mm.
really, man, and what capped it off for me, well, Jay-Z, him bringing up Jay-Z, that was major. And it's crazy because we were there like on post, standing on the stage or whatever.
Yes,
And then
sir.
Jay-Z came on the stage and he did what was it, the PSA joint. I was like,
Mm.
yo, it took every ounce of strength of my body not to lose it
Stay
at
on
that
post.
moment. Bro, I lied to you not, bro. I said, oh, and you know how that joint go. Allow me to reintroduce myself, my
Yeah,
name.
the energy it
And it
starts off with
dropped.
is insane. It's
Oh
a
my,
rush. Yeah,
oh my gosh,
absolutely.
bro. So it took a lot, bro, to just hold it down. But it was a great moment, man. And what really capped it off for me though is seeing the members in the audience reciting J Elect lyrics.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? Word for word. And it wasn't just black people and Hispanic people. You had white people in the audience, young white cats reciting lyric word for word. And to me, that just showed the power of putting a message in the music. People might not necessarily catch it right away, but over time, eventually, it'll seep in. And that's what really really did it for me. And from there, it's crazy how everything happened. Like, because at a certain point, I wasn't rhyming too much. I was rhyming here and there, whatever. But it's crazy because me and the fruit, the FOI, the fruit of Islam, um, in the Nation of Islam, we there was an event at the projects. What was that? It was Baisley Projects. Baisley Projects. So we
Mm.
we was at the Baisley Projects. They was having like a Baisley Projects Day or something like that. So we was there, came through, show love to the people. They had a stage there. I was in the ministry at that time. So they had invited me to speak on the stage. I started opening up and started talking, but I could see the energy in the face of the youth was like, that's cool, but come on, like let's get to this basketball game we about to do real quick. So I
Mm.
said, okay, I don't think they necessarily want to be preached to anything like that. They they might need something with more punch. So I just start spitting right there. Boom, just going in.
Mm.
Gave a hot 16. The joint was so crazy that dudes was on the basketball court and they literally stopped playing and was looking at me like, hold up, is this really happening? Because mind you, I got a suit on and a bow tie on.
Of
So
course,
I'm,
of
I'm
course.
you know what I'm saying, top to bottom. So they like, hold up, these dudes is rapping, like they
Mm.
spitting out here. You know what I'm saying? And what's crazy, man, like when I got off the stage, one of the other brothers in the ranks, uh, one of the brothers that's FOI, he was like, yo, I got access to a Grammy nominated producer. I could hit him up, see if you could get some studio time or whatnot. Bro, I was like, you gotta be kidding me. So after he said that, he made the plug. The dude he was talking about was Demo Wet. That's the brother
Mm.
who produced Nas Hate Me Now track. So bro, plug
Wow.
me in. And this is crazy, bro, cause the thing is, I didn't even plan on doing none of that. But I'm just looking at how all of this stuff was coming together. So after I rhymed, then he said, "Yo, I got the plug on a producer." Next thing you know, I'm in the studio. Bobby Schmurda, Hot Nigga, was out at the time, and I'm in my ministry mode, so I'm just thinking like from a different perspective of how like the government sees us. Like they like us killing each
Mm,
other. They like us to sell drugs in our communities. They love it when we do
facts.
that kind of stuff. And basically, I came and like represented the voice of the government on one verse. Then on another verse, I represented my own voice, and that track was called Power. So I put
Mm,
that out, and that was it right there, bro. I was like, yo, I think this is it for me right here, man. Like I need to really get serious and like really try to make this my way to get to the people.
wow, wow, wow. That's crazy, man. And it shows how things can come full circle. Early in the conversation, you said, you made yourself akin to like a Nas type of person, almost in the fact that you had this front row seat to so many the craziness and the almost the beautiful chaos of being, growing up in the type of environments that we came from, to having somebody who's critically acclaimed for doing work with Nas being one of the dudes that you get to tap for one of your early joints. So that's crazy how life can come 360
Damn, I
like
didn't even
that.
repeat that. Nah,
That's
that's a
very
dope
interesting,
connection.
man.
That's real though. That's real, bro. Yeah, man.
That's
And that's
beautiful.
how it happened. I think sometimes like we'll try to mastermind certain things that happen, but I think if we just start working and start moving, things will just naturally just come together, man, because there's always a higher plan.
Come on. Absolutely. No, that's very dope, man. So you touched on a couple of things on there that I love to piggyback. So you said you are a messenger and I'm sorry, a minister in the nation. Are you still ranked as among the ministers? And how is that experience, if you don't mind elaborating on
Um, well, one of the brothers, the regional minister in New York, he transitioned. He returned back to the essence. May Allah be pleased with him. But he allowed me to use music as my way to, of ministry. But he told me you always have a place in the ministry. So it's
it?
like I've never left, man. And at any given time I can be somewhere teaching. Like,
That's beautiful.
once it's in you, it's just in you. And I
Mm,
feel like the music is a ministry. It's just
without
a
question.
different form, you know.
Without question. Definitely, definitely. Are you referring to the regional minister who just recently transitioned?
I'm sorry, brother. Abdul Hafiz Muhammad
Yes,
in New
yeah,
York. Yes,
absolutely.
sir.
Yeah, yeah. No, that was. I mean, RIP to a very influential individual. Um, yeah, that. Uh, I mean, his resume uh speaks for itself. For those that know. He's done a lot of work with a lot of different people in the industry as well. Just I mean, you would know this more than I would, so I'm just preaching to the choir right now. But
Nah, most definitely, man.
but
50 Cent. He's counsel with 50
yeah.
Cent and a lot of
Hmm.
others. Frejo Star, like a lot of people he's touched, man. Just being in the city. So I mean, but definitely, man. People know about the mighty Hafiz, man.
Absolutely, absolutely. But that's wow, that's amazing. And yeah, that's absolutely a fact. The music is definitely um a very important part of the ministry. Some would argue the music ministry is even more important than just, the standard word itself, and how you can, um sometimes invigorate and motivate people who may not have been initially into just listening to somebody talk. Like you said, when you drop that 16 for that crowd because you was able to read the audience and see they vibe, you probably was able to tune in and get the antennas up of some young brothers who may not have been listening just with the normal speech, because they're just not used to just having that ear out for that type of word. But when you dropped it over some music, or you just dropped it rhythmically with some melody behind you, you could really raise the vibration of people, shake the bones, as they say, make them rattle, and really
Yeah, yeah,
and like them seeing, like like you said, you top to bottom in your in your Nation of Islam attire, they're like, yo, so stuff like that can really change people's perspective. Absolutely. So I think that's excellent, and I think he was very right and exact for telling you that, man, because I think that's going to help touch a lot of people, because you be coming with the balls, and then you also have a dope message. So I'm sure that helps turn people on. Like back in the day, I used to listen to a lot of the Lost Sheep production tapes,
Oh wow, wow.
right? And so yeah, shout to the people, the Lost Sheep team, and Respect for Life stores, because I used to go pick them all up at Respect for Life, and that literally helped me get into so many of the messages way more than I probably would have if they didn't have the beats and everything behind it. And it was that introduction that allowed me to really get comfortable hearing the messages. And so I can personally attest to the fact that, that when you have a dope message, having it in the right format for the right ears is everything. So
Right.
kudos to you with that, man. So I think that can definitely be helpful. It's extremely helpful. But yeah, please continue.
Yeah. And
So
also
you
on
were
that
saying,
point, man, I just want to say, like, people, they don't necessarily want to be preached to, or like,
mm,
feel like they're being talked down to. I
mm,
mean, man, it's really, like if you got a person in your life, they might mention a thing or two to you, but you can tell they're coming from a place of love. It's like
right.
when somebody comes from that place of love, then it's like you receive it a different way versus somebody like, yo, pull your pants up. Why you looking like that? You just sound like the old head. Like, yo, all right, man. You tuning them all the way out, bro. Like, all right,
All the
whatever.
way, all the
Right.
way.
Like, all right, man. So it's like, like you said, man, the format is everything, man. Like, look at how the enemy presents his agenda in the movies and in the plays and everything. He always puts certain things out there. Like even enemy of the state, they're talking about you say certain words and that triggers those are trigger words to allow them to
Mm,
start recording your conversation, things like that. This is a
mm,
movie, but they're dropping some real stuff in these movies, alerting you to what's really going on. And some of us might see it as, oh yeah, this is just entertainment, but then others be like, yo, nah, there might be something to this. Like they might put a weapon in a movie. You think it's just in a movie, but they got the weapon developed on a military base somewhere. You know what I'm
come
saying?
on.
And it's like, if we're not paying attention, then we're missing a lot of these things. So I mean, honestly, man, I think that like the putting the message in the music is instrumental to the struggle and what's going on and just knowing how to do it the right way. Like in the 80s and some even some of the 90s, like people would have a positive message in their music and the black community was on a certain vibration. Like we was about respect for self, we was about doing for self, looking out for our women and things like that. No, it wasn't all perfect, but that was like the messaging out there. They came together with that track self-destruction, and there's a lot of that going on. Will it ever get to that? I don't know, but one thing I do know, it's a lot of that positive stuff is still out there. I just think that the more you magnify it, the more people will kind of gravitate towards it, or the audience that's looking for that.
Absolutely, absolutely. So wow, you just dropped a bunch of gems right there. Um, talk about the magnifying and in these times. With the way the technology is, do you think that these are good times for trying to magnify your voice and your message, do you think that it's an easier time, as long as somebody takes a hold of the technology and really tries to navigate it to get messages out there, or do you think that you can kind of get lost in the sauce? What's your take?
I see it from both sides, man. Like I see one
Mm,
side where, yeah, you definitely can get lost in the sauce if you're trying to compete with like the popular stuff that's out there,
mm,
and you got a message, yeah, you definitely can get lost in the sauce. But the name of the game today is having a niche market. So if you
mm,
get that group, that audience that's really rocking with you, say it's like 10,000 people. If you could lock in those 10,000 people, you can just keep working that 10,000, giving them, keep feeding them, and then they'll grow and they'll continue to multiply until you get to like a hundred thousand. You get 100,000 people as your audience. Yeah, the average person might not know about you. You're not as famous as like an artist that got popping on TikTok, but you still straight because you got your audience that's supporting what you do and supporting your craft, so you can keep putting stuff out there. And if you wanted to, eventually you could even leverage that into a partnership deal where you want to go a little into the mainstream. And I think Nipsey is a great example of that. How he kind of leveraged, his fan base, and then also kind of, well, he was in the mainstream at one point, but then, he kind of leveraged that to get his fan base. And then when the Victory Lap came out, he went in more into like the mainstream mode with that one. But I think it's definitely a way to do it. You just can't be out here thinking that it's the 90s and like you're going to be one of the top 10 rappers that's on the radio. Like there's artists everywhere now. Like everybody and their mama's a rapper now.
mm, mm. Very well said. Very well said. You touched on something there that I would love for you to elaborate on for those that may be listening and may not have to be familiar with the term. You said it. You touched on a niche market. Could you please, if you don't mind, give us a quick lesson on what you define that as and how you try to capitalize on finding your correct demographic and targeting those people.
I think the niche market is basically a group of people that you're speaking to, like say that's your target audience. So if you're a backpack rapper or whatever, or you're a conscious
Mm,
rapper, you're going to
mm,
target those people that are looking for that. So let's say
mm,
college students, uh, people that kind of just work and just stand up individuals, people that's living life legally. You know what I'm saying? Like, you going after them. Like, you're not tapping the streets because your stuff ain't really for the streets because they're not hearing that. But I think it's a matter of defining what you do as an artist and targeting those individuals that are into that kind of stuff. That basically you targeting the people that your message is for. Instead of
mm,
trying to make music for everybody, you're making
mm.
music for people that like what you do, pretty much. So you're not out here trying to sound gangster because gangster is what's working nowadays. Like you're just being you, being yourself, but you're making sure that your music gets in front of the people who like the kind of music that you're making.
Very dope, very dope. What type of avenues do you avail yourself of to try to do those things? Do you work with like particular marketing strategies or particular do you have particular do you hire like particular ad agencies like what's uh when you're doing a rollout, like what type of things are you gearing up for or putting into your Rolodex of or your checklist of things that you need to get done?
Honestly, me personally, like I said, man, it's a lot more that I plan to utilize in order to, put my music out, put the content out. But right now, I
Mm,
look at basically the feedback that I get on the platforms that I'm already using. So if I put something out on
Mm,
Instagram and I get a certain
mm,
response and reaction, I start looking at who's responding, who's reacting. Like, okay, that's this
mm,
is a brother. He's around like my age. Okay, so my age group is kind of looking for this kind of sound right here. There might be some people that's like 25 to 30 listening. But I'm like, hold on, a bulk of the people that's listening is like somewhere in my age group. So let me focus on them, and the people that's under the 25s to 30 or whatever, they'll pick it up too. So I
mm.
pretty much I just look at what's working. I look at what's working and who's responding, and then I go at them. But I'm working on doing something where I can basically uh how do you say, capture the contact information of the different people that as listeners. So, I'm looking to release some music, but also gather certain contact information so that I can kind of stay in touch with my listeners and communicate directly with them outside of a third party app. So whenever I drop, they could be one of the first to even know about it, and just keep
Wow.
building on that.
Wow. Okay. Wow. Mic drop. Immediate mic drop. You touched on three very dope things right there. So it sounds like you're doing a lot of the data analysis. You're doing a lot of market research and analysis, and you're also doing what they call a CRM, a customer retention management, where like you're now starting to figure out ways that you can take these customers or take these potential fans and start rolling them down the what they call that the sales path, and making them customers and then trying to make them repeat customers. That's awesome, man. It
Right,
sounds like
right.
you're really cultivating a plan to not only have amazing art and amazing music, but to have dope visuals or dope marry the technology with what you're doing, but then also make sure you're marketing it to the right people. And like that is a winning formula, bro. That is a winning strategy. That's excellent. Thank you for giving us that little master class right there. That was elite.
You, bro. And appreciate you with the elite terminologies too, man. I'm like, okay. Yeah, bro was
Yeah,
looking.
yeah, yeah. I mean, I did a couple of the I had some amazing professors on campus, man. Shout to LIU, like so they made sure not only to make sure we was learning the engineering and stuff, but they make us take like marketing and business, music business classes. Like on my last semester, I got to take this amazing music business class. And they just it was taught by some dudes that used to work at Bad Boy, so they really drilled a lot of different terminology and stuff into our heads. And so like just listening to you talk, like you might not know every single jargon or whatever, bro, but you got the sauce. Like you're literally verbatim saying all the different things I could hear my professor saying to me, bro. So like you really seem to have all your ducks in a row. That's amazing, man. I'm very much looking forward to see how this thing progresses and grows for you, because it sounds like you really have a level head balancing the creative and the business administrative side.
Hey, man, definitely, man. Just out here working, man. Just trying to, just get it out there, man. Especially with people dying left and right. 2020, it's
Come on,
definitely a
come on.
testament to say if you got a dream, you got a vision, you got a plan, just get it out there, man. As quick as you can, because you just never know
Mm,
when it's gonna be your last day.
wow, well said. Definitely well said. Who are some of the artists that you looking forward to working with going forward, or that you had the pleasure of working with recently?
Look, honestly, bro, I don't even have any that I could say I'm looking forward to working with right now. I'm
Mm,
so focused on mining the best artists out of myself right now because I
mm,
don't want to get too caught up with that. Like I feel like, I still have some developing to do on myself. So I'm really, I
Mm.
feel like I got several different artists in me. So I'm trying to get them out. Once I get them out, then it's like, all right, maybe I could work with some other cats. But I'm really just on some trying to be the best artist that I can be first.
No, that's dope, man. That's very dope, man. There's nothing wrong with insulating yourself and taking the time to come out with your dope project. I think Little Baby, didn't he just do something? He posted a tweet the other day where he was like, "Yo, it was fun while it lasted, but all the collabs is over. I'm in album mode now." So I definitely respect that. Sometimes you gotta just
Right.
insulate yourself, do the best thing you can do. Kendrick, I think, does a lot of similar things where he's like, I work with people, but like there's times where he just kind of got to get in the closet as well. And I think Roddy Rich also kind of told people, I kind of gave y'all enough. Let me get to the
Right,
drawing board
right,
and get myself together. And
right.
and sometimes that's very much needed because you can give so much energy to other people that when it comes time for you to do your thing, that you can kind of be so drained that then you need that moment to recharge the battery so you can give yourself 100%. So ain't nothing wrong with that at all.
Definitely, man.
That's
Like,
that's that's very a mature way to look at it. I'm sorry, go ahead.
yeah, yeah. And I, sometime I'll collab with a person here or there, based on my relationship and everything. But like, I actually recently did a track called Follow. I was featured on a track called Follow. One of the good brothers I know, New World Flood. I've been knowing him for a minute, so he asked me to hop on. I'm like, yeah, definitely, man. Of course, just off the relationship, and I was feeling the music, so I said, all right, let's do it. But it's definitely not something I'm like pushing for. Like, yeah, yeah, let me get everybody on. Definitely working on me right now.
That is excellent. That is excellent. So what can we see that's coming up next from you, good brother? As far as is there a project in the works for the beginning of the year or sometime in 2021? What's the next step?
Definitely, man. I'm looking to drop an EP in 2020, man. Like around
Mm,
April. I say around like April should be done. Like I
nice.
actually got some tracks finished. I'm just putting the finishing touches on it. Some tracks is just done in the bag, but I just want to make sure I give a nice little package to represent myself and what I do because I don't want to compromise the brand. I want to keep that quality there too. So definitely, man, God willing, like sometime in April, definitely should be dropping something.
That's dope. And wow, man. Again, bro, you literally could teach this to other people. You just touched on another very key integral thing there, the importance of your brand and making sure your brand imagery all kind of syncs up. Do you think that some people can kind of derail their chances at making an impact if their imagery for their brand and everything doesn't completely lock in sync? Or do you think people can just kind of have it haphazardly and it'll all work?
Right. Like, yeah, I think if everything is in sync, man, the message comes across stronger, man. Like, just imagine, Martin Luther King, him
Mm.
speaking, but he had a squeaky voice or something like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? I had a dream. Like, if he was on some squeaky shit, talking about I had a dream, you like, yeah, yeah, all right, man.
Mm.
Whatever, man. But it's like, the baritone and the way that his voice came across in that large kind of
Mm.
way, which helped the
Mm.
message that he had to really hit home. And it's the same
Mm.
with the music, man. The quality of the beat, or with the quality of the way how you saying it and everything. Like it really helps to drive the message home, man. And you can't really underestimate that as an artist because it really works wonders.
That's a whole fact, man. Very well said, good brother. Um, 360 in the interview, real quick. As a also as as not only an artist, but literally, I would say also as a messenger. You know what I mean? With an amazing message. Um, how do you like? Cause every time I hear something new from you, bro, it's like it's got all this insane vivid imagery in it. Like you could really just close your eyes and listen to something, and it's like, you really are walking somebody through a verse or through some bars, like where it's like everybody can see word for word. Like you don't waste a lot of adjectives. Like you ain't got a lot of extra uhs and thuhs and this is going on in there. You're very much
Right.
uh very very methodical about the word selection and how it's gonna paint out. Um, has that always come so easy for you, or was that something you really had to get intentional and focus on?
At a certain point, I had to get more intentional with it because I would have an idea that I want to get out, and it just wouldn't slap. Like it just didn't hit. So once I
Mm,
started playing with it more, like basically I just started growing the more I kept writing. Like I just kept
mm,
writing, kept writing, kept writing. I actually used to rhyme um for my friends. Like before I even went to Kabul, I used to rhyme. I was in Bishop Lockland, and I used to rhyme for some of my friends over there, and they just be looking at me crazy, like, yo, bro, like that was trash. Like, what are you doing? And it was like, and it's crazy. It's weird because I think about it now, and I'm like, wow, I could have just quit and just stopped. Like, what am I doing? But something in me just had to prove them wrong that I could do it, and I'm gonna make something that they're gonna like. And I just kept working and working at it, and eventually, I came to a point where I had a certain rhythmic flow that just worked,
mm,
and then I got my props. I got my props, and from there on, they looked at me different, like, oh, this dude, he's really doing this, and and that's what helped me even to this day, man. That determination, like, I gotta make it sound better. Like if I'm listening to the song and
mm,
I'm not really feeling it, like it doesn't really hit home with me, I can't. I got to
mm.
do it over because it's got to strike a chord in me. I can't just let anything out there.
Feel that. I definitely feel that. Definitely makes sense. I never I didn't know that you used to be in the to go to school to the Catholic high schools, bro. That's the same thing that happened to me. I was at St. John's Prep and I left there my freshman year and then I came to Kabul. That's crazy.
Yo, I guess Cabo is like that's where you go after, right? After the Catholic, hey, Cabo got
After
a
the
seat for you,
conflict.
man. Things that pan out, come to Cabo, man.
That's a fact. That's a fact. Oh man, that's
Yo,
crazy.
yeah, man. Crazy, yeah,
That's
man.
insane, but that's excellent.
Yeah, yeah.
For,
It worked out though, man. We still here,
mm,
man.
no, that's a
Yeah.
whole fact. That's absolutely a fact. Um, whole nother direction as a with the how first and foremost, um 2020 has been a hell of a year, and I'll use that. I probably could say that 1,000 times, and I just would be scratching the surface, right? But as a minister in the nation, how has well, I don't know how should I word this. Have you seen the how should I word this? I'm trying to be nice as this as possible because this year has been crazy, and you got from everything from violence in the streets to unnecessary losses of life. What and now everything rolling out with the vaccine. Where do you see things going in the next year? I know that's a very vague question, so forgive me,
That's cool. That's
and
cool.
I'll try to like because I mean it's just so many different things that have been pulling us, you know what I mean, from that have always been happening, but now maybe getting more. alleged widespread media coverage, because sometimes the media coverage don't even be as authentic as it could be. I know I'm preaching to the choir when it comes to that, but stuff is a mess out. Where do you see things going? From a community standpoint, uh, us as Black folks, where do you see things headed? Like with the rollout of the vaccinations and how they showing, allegedly people are having really bad, adverse reactions, from Bell's palsy
Right.
to some people just passing out to, some people allegedly completely passing away. Um, where do you see things
Mm,
going as we get into 2021?
that's a great question, man, and like you said, loaded. Um, Honestly, I think one of the things that we as a people have realized in 2020 is we can't 100% put all of our trust in our government.
Mm,
And if you look at it, even when the COVID broke out, there was so much mixed messaging coming from the very top, whether it be the CDC, um, Anthony Fauci. It was a lot of mixed messaging going on, and people didn't quite know what to do. And
mm,
and we could start right there. So if you think about it, I think blacks in particular are thinking more in terms of coming up with our own or galvanizing our own professionals whom we trust to help us to get out of these particular situations. If you look at the July 4th message with Minister Farrakhan, the criterion,
the criterion, yes,
yeah,
sir.
he talked about how we shouldn't take the vaccine, don't take the vaccine from the government, unless we get it a vaccine that's vetted from say the Cuban doctors or whatnot. He mentioned something to that extent. So basically, that still talks about the lack of trust in the government.
Mm,
So whether it
mm,
be from taking a vaccine, from misinformation, from the injustice that's going on, we're in a position where we're starting to realize that the government doesn't necessarily have our best interests at heart, and it's really up to us to educate ourselves on these matters to figure out
mm.
a solution ourselves instead of waiting on the government to do it for us. And I think that is gonna bring us a little closer together. Of course, man, like it took us 400 years to get in this predicament, in this shape. So it's not gonna take 10 to get out. So it's
Come
gonna
on.
be a bumpy road, but I think that we're moving closer and more towards unity than ever before.
Mm, very well said. Very well said. Um, yeah, absolutely. I definitely, for those who haven't had the pleasure of checking out Minister Farrakhan's July 4th speech, known as the Criterion, please try to check it out ASAP, because I saw a follow up. Wasn't really like a speech, but he was more like being doing, I guess, like just talking to the people real quick. I saw it on Abdul Qiyam's channel recently, where he was
Right.
saying that a lot of the people that had the Criterion speech, like from the Roland Martins, Brother Ben X, etc. A lot of these channels are being suspended. Their broadcast rights on a lot of platforms are being um, questioned and paused at such a crucial time. When uh, those vehicles of getting some additional information out to the people are very crucial, because we can't always take everything that the CNNs or the MSNBCs of the world will give us 100%. Because for I hate to say it, but perfect example, they'll look at an Alaskan nurse pass out right on camera in front of everybody and say, "Oh, she's okay." She just has
Right,
a
right.
she has a what did they say? A propensity. She passes out a lot at things like this.
Pain.
Come on, guys.
She passes out.
What?
Yeah, it's
I
like, do
know I'm
y'all
not
hear
describing it
yourselves?
right, but it was like
It's crazy, man. Yeah, I don't understand. Like, how do you come up with this stuff? But yeah, I remember reading that article. It said something to the effect of when she feels pain, she passes out. She like has a history. Like, what? What do you? Yeah, that that's just
you
crazy.
know.
That's just crazy.
So the need for these outlets and the need for people that will give us a different perspective is so necessary in these times. But it seems like sometimes they don't want those other voices to be heard or those other voices to get out. And you know, that only leads people to feel more and more that they can't trust you.
Right.
That only is gonna lead people to feel more and more that like, hey, like, well, not everybody, because some people are gonna, side with them and say, oh yeah, well those people shouldn't have a platform. Those people are quote unquote teaching hate. And I don't want to get into a whole long side
Yeah,
convo
yeah,
because we
yeah.
could have a whole extra conversation about
Absolutely.
those who actually teach hate versus those who don't. But it's very interesting to me that these are the times that we come in and how important it is for the information. How like yeah, that speech is definitely one that people need to hear. But I don't want to get into a whole crazy long side about that. But please,
Yeah, man,
um,
nothing. But nah, I hear you loud and clear though, brother. Loud and clear.
yeah, but so I was saying all that to say, I mean, where do you see us rolling into these times, like as we go forward, like as far as the vaccines and as far as just social justice and racial justice issues. Um, I mean, it seems like right now the people at the top can't even figure out who's going to lead their country moving forward. So it's like the trickle down effect of that and the chaos that also creates on lower levels. You know what I mean? How do we move through that while still I guess looking at the bigger picture and seeing how we get around all these other things that are coming down the pipe from your perspective?
Honestly, brother, like I think that all that the Honorable Muhammad has been teaching, all that Minister Louis Farrakhan has been teaching all these years is right and exact and it's coming to pass. We have all
Mm,
of the knowledge that's out there. Even other black leaders who have been speaking, telling us to unite, like Marcus Garvey and others, like have been coming and telling us that we need to unite and we need to separate and create something of our own. I think that those messages are being amplified now because of the negative effects of staying amongst the government and system that doesn't want us as equal citizens in the first place. And I think a lot of people are quickly starting to realize that with the institutionalized racism that's entrenched into this country and in other places of the world, it's like you sometimes you feel like you've arrived or you made it somewhere. But Muhammad Ali, he said it best when he had a conversation with the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. He said, "Still a nigga," and they
mm,
were at the dinner table, and he just kept saying, "Still a nigga." And the minister kind of just he didn't quite understand, why he kept saying that, but it dawned on him later, saying, no matter how much money you make, no matter how much fame you have, you always gonna be a nigga in the eyes of the people who runs the system. So it's
mm,
really up to us to create a system of our own and to appreciate and love each other. Like look at, people that feel like they're being snubbed at the Grammys and we being snubbed at this award show and that award show. When are we going to start to realize that white validation shouldn't mean so much to us. When are we gonna come
Mm,
together and decide we need to give each other our flowers and say,
yes,
you
sir.
know what, yo, this was a really dope project. This was the project of the year, and we're gonna all vote and decide, as a culture, like this is good for the culture right here, instead of looking for that handout from from white America. And I think we're starting to realize it more now than ever with the negative impacts of the racism and what's going on in this country, unfortunately. But I feel like things always have to get worse before they get better.
Without question. No, that's very true, man. And like that was an excellent point you brought up about the Grammys and the validation of self versus others. Shows like the Soul Train Awards and the BET Awards. Kind of get looked down and almost kind of treated like the the little brothers or the stepsisters. The Ebony Awards. The all of those award shows, the Essence Award shows, the NAACP award shows, kind of get looked at as the stepchild, that you keep in the basement, that you don't really want nobody to know about,
Literally, bro.
that.
Literally.
But it's yeah.
Literally.
But then when it comes time for the Grammys or the MTV Awards or the VMAs, people they can almost go broke. Buying elaborate outfits or spending their last dollar to make sure they pull up in a particular type of ride. And it's crazy because year after year after year we hear the stories of people being invalidated. You hear this year how Tiffany Haddish was allegedly asked to host the pre-party show for free 99. We're not even going to cover your expenses. And that's insane. You're talking about the Grammys, the Recording Academy, the place that has you know billions and billions of dollars
Right, right.
gets all of this money off of the back of artists and off of grammar and off of people giving their words energy, and then them taking those words and putting it on a record that they can then charge people $9.99 for. Like, so it's crazy to me that someone who literally her whole thing is giving people her grammatical heat, that you would then want her to come host your thing for free. And like you said, when do we get to the point where it's like, enough of this is enough? We got people ridiculing Kanye for urinating on his Grammy earlier in the year and saying, "Yo, I'm tired of these contracts and stuff." But I mean, when do we get to enough? When will we love each other that much? Is I guess what I'm asking.
Right. And I think that's key, man. Like, if we look at, what we have, like, if, say, a black owned business comes up, you can't
Mm,
compare that black owned business like BET. You can't just compare BET to, say, the Grammys, because
right.
there's a different backing, like, and how old is the
Come on.
Grammys versus how old is BET. I feel like we are not willing to invest the time and the money into our own thing to build it up so it can equal what they have out in the world. We'll rather just flock to the already established the Grammys award show, instead of like making our award show so popping and polished to where it
Come
can
on.
compete with the Grammy on that same level. And I think that's what's
Hmm.
missing, and of course that comes with a little sacrifice, and you gotta invest. And that's the thing, like, we come to the show looking for what we can get, not for what we could put in.
Mm,
And I think that
mm.
mentality has to die. Even if a black business start up, we looking for a discount. Like, no, you should be
Come on.
looking to give more than what the product
Tips.
costs. Yeah, bro. Like, you should look giving all kind of tips, donations, and everything. And
Yes,
that's our
sir.
issue, man. We want to just take from. Like, when it comes to black business, we gotta really invest in it so that it can start competing with these other businesses out here that have millions and billions of dollars backing them. And
Mm.
we have millionaires, we have billionaires, and I think we just really need to come together as a people and just like put our egos aside on what's going to be the standard. Like, this This is going to be the
Mm,
musical standard, like the Source magazine. If you got those five mics,
mm.
you know that your project was hitting. If you got the five mics, you know you had a classic. I feel like it needs to get back to that point where we are determining what's hot and what's not in our own culture.
No, that's a fact. And I think we still do to a degree, but I think that we just allow them to monetize it so quickly. Like we make the dope songs, but then we allow TikTok to take it and run it up. You know what I'm saying? We we got the kids putting in all the energy to make the dope dances, and TikTok is doing that. TikTok got them on hold as well. They got all types of apps dropping every day, from a Clubhouse to a Loom, etc., where our voices, our energy is being used to uplift and buoy all of these new platforms, instead of, like you saying, like, when are we going to take the time to put all that love into our platforms and take all of that energy? Because I really personally feel like it's just our energy that powers all of this. And when will we change? When will a mindset change that we'll get to the point where we like, yo, to heck with all of that stuff that they used to have. We on this because we love us first. I think. So, I don't even think it would be a sacrifice if the mindset changed. I think we'll see the value in that. You know what I mean? So sometimes I just think that the mindset is a little off. Am I sounding crazy?
Honey, bro. I think that's it right there, man. Like, uh, if we look at what we're doing, like, and I think just like you said, with the BET awards and stuff, it's looked at like a stepchild. Like, it's not something serious, bro. It's like, all right, man, you like miss me with
Yeah,
that.
we
Like,
don't
really?
give it the
Like,
same level of appreciation. Like,
nah, man. But the Grammys roll out, you talking about high sophistication and class and
come on,
elegance. You put on your best stuff. But then the BET Awards is like some hood stuff. Like, all right,
craziness, craziness.
you ain't taking it serious like that. Like, nobody's like, oh man, I got a BET Award. I'm so thankful, working my whole life. Not to say some people
Right.
not appreciative, but still, like, Grammy Award versus BET, like, goes without saying, man.
And it's all the energy we putting into it. Like, you know, if people just, if when Kanye had his moment, yeah, that's a shock value moment. But I think the message he was trying to get across is clear. But you see how immediately the media completely ostracized them, and then once they do that, everybody
Mm,
follows suit.
right,
You know,
right.
it's like I you know, like you said, I see us all coming together much more now, which is so beautiful. And I'm just looking forward to the time where it's like none of their none of their status symbols matter. You know what I'm saying? Or like if they
Right.
want their status symbol to continue to matter, they've gotta be more willing to come to the table in a way that makes sense for everybody.
Right. And it's really, man, like, if you think about it, the culture, we create the culture and they monetize it because they've
Hmm.
always had the business acumen to do that. We've always just had the talent. Now we're trying to change the roles around. And, it's a struggle and it's going to take a minute, but I can see like people are starting to look for ownership more than anything else. And even with the deals, with the 360 deals, people are not flocking to get the 360 deals. You might have some young
Right,
cats, that's from the projects or from the bottom and having nothing. And then you offer them a deal, it's like, they ain't got no money, they got nothing. So they might take a
right,
360
right,
deal. But then you might have, somebody from the projects too, you know what I'm saying? But like just their mindset different though because they might have some of their OGs that's putting something in their ear and letting them know, like Master P, like Master P came from nothing, but he still had a mindset to bring to the table so he could work out like one of the best deals in the game. And I feel like a lot of people is kind of adopting that whole Master P mindset where it's like, yo, I bring the talent to the table. I got the following here. I got people that's, my fans. Now I got some leverage. Let's go into a partnership now instead of you just gonna
Mm,
sign me and I'm just gonna give relinquish the rights to my name and all of my art. I feel like people are kind of like wising up on that now.
that's a whole fact. It's not as popular to be signed to a label these days. There's
Right,
definitely more of a savvy coming around to understanding the business side. Where like it used to be like, oh, everybody wanted to rock that Rockefeller chain or that good music chain. Now people is like, you could keep your chain, you know. Like
right,
I
right.
don't need that. I'd rather go get to this bag and have some longevity. And I think that's dope.
Definitely, man. And it's a hell of a lot of opportunity out here for people, that's in music, and if you just build up a following, like I said, if you get a following of 100,000 core supporters that's really rocking with you, then man, it's you winning. You winning, bro. Like I can't you might not be the most famous dude, but you definitely you definitely got a core fan base and you can still increase that fan base too. And you can also leverage
I,
that to like maybe you get a feature from, a Cole or somebody that's more known. Now people can flock to your platform, but you already got the platform built. So when people flock to what you're doing, you already know how to manage it because you managing that 100,000. Now the more people come, it's like, all right, I already got the system set up. You know,
mm, very well said, sir. Very well said. Good brother. This has been absolutely amazing, amazing convo. I thank you so much for the time, man.
thank you,
This
bro.
has been a treat. I hope this could be the first of many. We could check back in with you in a few months and see how everything's moving forward for you. Because this has been an absolute treat, King. Please let everybody know where they can find you at all your handles.
Yeah, just follow me on Ashè_Koran on IG. I'm on Twitter, same name, Ashè_Koran. I'm still working on a website. I got the domain name and everything, but Ashè.Koran.com. It's gonna be up soon. And just,
Mm,
tap in,
yo, thank you so much for this, good brother.
bro.
It's definitely been appreciated. Enjoy the day, man, and I'm definitely looking forward to seeing the success going forward, King.
Yeah, man. Shout to Ashè Koran for such an amazing interview. Going definitely had a brother back on again soon because I know the people definitely going want to hear some more from the brother as things continue to rev up and kick up going into 2021. Um, a good word like that is definitely needed, in the fact that the dude got them balls to make your head nod too is always a positive thing. And that's what the show is here for. So as always, guys, here's Ghetto Point of View at gmail.com is the place you can reach us. Any questions, comments, critiques, criticisms. Thank you so much, as always, for continuing to rock with us and vibe with us. And just to continue to piggyback off of what I was saying earlier about why I feel the Lil Wayne thing is so crazy. Variety magazine, it's a recent article in Variety magazine. Scooter Braun sells Taylor Swift's Big Machine Masters for a big payday. Some 17 months after Scooter Braun's Ithaca Holdings LLC acquired Big Machine label group and all of its recorded music assets, sources tell Variety the veteran manager and entrepreneur sold the master rights to Taylor Swift's first 6 albums. The buyer, an investment fund, is as yet unknown, but the deal is believed to be north of 300 million and closed in the last 2 weeks. Some insiders speculate the value could be as high as 450 million once certain earnbacks are factored in. Ithaca purchased the Nashville-based independent record label Big Machine, founded by Scott Borchetta in 2005, in 2019 for just over 300 million, of which Swift's catalog for her 2006 self-titled to 2006-17's reputation was believed to be worth some $140 million. Now, this is Swift's music alone that they saying was worth at that time $140 million. Not Swift plus this artist plus that artist. That's what I'm not understanding. How could Wayne plus a Nicki plus a Drake only get you $100 million? The acquisition encompassed all aspects of BLMG's businesses including its client roster, distribution deals, publishing, and owned rights masters. Swift signed with Big Music, Big Machine Label Group, BMLG, Big Machine Label Group at the beginning of her career. Her contract with the label expired fall 2018, after which she signed a deal for future recordings with Universal Music Group. So this is what I'm not understanding. If Scooter Braun, his company Ithaca Holdings, sold Big Machine to an investment fund, and the investment fund gave between $300 million and $450 million. I'm not understanding why. Why? Why? I just want to know why. Like I'm just really trying to figure this out. Like just kind of tell me. I don't understand. And I know how some people feel about this deal. Oh, it's messed up. Oh, Scooter Braun doesn't have shouldn't be selling her music and this and this and that. Listen, she signed the deal. Anyway, all right. Like in only 17 months after he bought it, he was able to flip it. Whew. Mm-mm-mm. Doesn't make sense to me. Somebody please let me know. How the hell does this make sense that he would do that to those three amazing? Like, what is going on in his brain? I don't. Whatever. Whatever. I don't know what else to say. But on the on another front, to 360 guys, some unfortunate news about some alleged allergic reactions to the COVID vaccine have popped up. There was a nurse in Alaska who had a very interesting allergic reaction on TV. She actually fainted, and there have been some allergic reactions to the vaccination in Chicago, in the Chicago area, in Libertyville, Illinois, more specifically. And as ABC News reported, that there was a temporary shutdown, but they have resumed giving out the vaccine. Advocate Condell Medical Center to resume vaccinations after temporary pause due to COVID-19 vaccine side effects. This is an article from the 20th. After a thorough internal review, Advocate Condell Medical Center in Libertyville is restarting their COVID-19 vaccination program as of Sunday. The program was put on pause Friday night after 4 employees experienced reactions shortly after receiving the vaccine. Officials said there have been no other cases reported across Advocate Aurora Health. So the immediate concern was there was something wrong with the backs of vaccines. But after discussion with our health departments and also understanding that that same lot of vaccines was used at multiple other sites, both within and outside of Advocate Aurora Health, and no other serious concerns reported. We felt that there are really no concerns about the integrity of the vaccine. Dr. Robert Citronberg, Executive Medical Director of Infectious Disease and Prevention. One of 4 cases appeared to be a severe allergic reaction. The staff member is doing well and was discharged Saturday. The other 3 experienced mild reactions that can happen after being vaccinated. Listen, I'm not a doctor, but it's very interesting that all these. Listen, when you have such a widespread amount of people being vaccinated, you're of course going to have a widespread amount of people have a reaction. That is without question. That just makes sense. That is A and B equaling C. I get that. But some would argue that the way this was sold was that it was completely safe. But now that all these things are popping up, now they're trying to apologize them away. And that can just lead people to feel on edge and a little uneasy about things. The article goes on to continue. I can tell you one of them, the team members had a milder reaction, was discharged home, was a physician on our medical staff, and we reached out to that physician on Saturday who was feeling great. He said he is absolutely 100% combined, continued vaccination of our population. So you reached out to him, so he couldn't come back to work the next day. If it was a mild issue, he had a mild reaction, then why wasn't he back to work the next day? That would just be my question. Lake County Health Department issued a statement: as COVID-19 vaccinations roll out across Lake County, we continue to closely monitor their safety and efficacy. Monitoring for adverse reactions is part of our standard process with vaccinations, and it is not unexpected to see some minor reactions occur. I mean, I can understand that because some people respond to vaccinations differently than others. But the way that this was sold was that it had a 95% efficacy. So then there shouldn't be this many cases so quickly being reported of these adverse reactions. Just to me, again, I don't know the amount of numbers they're doing. If this is only 5% of the people, then I don't know. As a precaution, Advocate Aurora Health is increasing their post-vaccination evaluation period. So how long you have to sit there and let them evaluate you to 30 minutes for all individuals across their sites. They continue to encourage employees to get vaccinated, but it is not mandatory. But what if you lose your job if you don't take it? So it's not mandatory, but you can't really do anything without it. Vaccinations at 8 other Aurora Health locations in Illinois, as well as the 3 locations in Wisconsin, continued with no delay, according to Advocate Aurora Health. And then what really is alerting me about this too is that now that there's news of a new strain. Now that there's news of a new strain, how would that look? And they're saying that the new strain, it's a different mutation. So of course it would need, I would imagine, at some point its own vaccination, right? So when does this end? When does this end? That's all I want to know. But this just in, guys. This just in. Congress finalizes an agreement on an almost $1 trillion COVID-19 relief bill. The bill would establish a temporary $300 per week supplemental jobless benefit and $600 per week in direct stimulus payments to most Americans. So, top Capitol Hill negotiators sealed a deal Sunday on an almost $1 trillion COVID-19 economic relief package, finally delivering long overdue help to businesses and individuals and providing money to deliver vaccines to a nation eager for them. The agreement announced by Senate leaders would establish a temporary $300 per week supplemental jobless benefit and $600 direct stimulus payments to most Americans, along with a new round of subsidies for hard-hit businesses, money for schools, healthcare providers, and renters facing eviction. Specific items expected in the bill include $284 billion for small business loan program, $25 billion in rental assistance, $600 direct payments per adult and child, $300 enhanced employment benefits, $13 billion in enhanced SNAP benefits, $82 billion for colleges and schools, $10 billion for child care assistance. The COVID-19 aid bill also ends the practice of surprise medical billing. How does that work? I don't know. I'm sure the House was expected to vote on legislation on Monday, said a spokeswoman for the House Majority Leader, Steny Hoyer, Democrat of Maryland. The House would pass a one-day stopgap spending bill to avert a shutdown at midnight Sunday. The Senate would likely vote on Monday, too. Lawmakers were eager to leave Washington and close out a tumultuous year. There will be another major rescue package for the American people, Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell said, and announcing the agreement on the relief bill that totaled close almost $9 billion. It is packed with target policies to help struggling Americans who have already waited too long. The final agreement is the largest spending measure yet. It combines COVID-19 relief with a $1.4 trillion government-wide funding plan and lots of other unrelated measures on taxes, health, infrastructure, and education. Of course. While Schumer said Democrats would have wanted more. Passage is nearing as coronavirus cases and deaths spike and evidence piles up that the economy is struggling. Late-breaking decisions would limit the $300 per week jobless benefits, one half of the supplemental federal unemployment benefit provided under the CARES Act in March, to 10 weeks instead of 16 as before. The direct $600 payment to most people is also half of the March payment, subject to the same income limits in which an individual payment begins to phase out after $75,000. President Donald Trump is supportive, particularly of the push for providing more direct payments. Get it done, he said in a tweet late Saturday. It would be the first significant legislative response to the pandemic, said the $1.8 trillion CARES Act, passed virtually unanimously in March. The legislation was held up by months of dysfunction, posturing, and bad faith. But talks turned serious last week as lawmakers on both sides finally faced the deadline of acting before leaving Washington for Christmas, because they need to make sure their Christmases are cushy. Listen, it's half of what was in the previous bill. They're not being clear on if it also will include child credits like the previous bill had to. It says payments per adult and child of $600. So, I mean, as opposed to getting the $500 per child, would you get $600 per child you have in your house plus just $600 for the adult? If so, that's, listen, better than zero. Definitely appreciated during these hard times when people need things. And here's hoping people take that money and instead of buying PS5s, open up their LLCs or, get themselves situated, get their fam situated, because things is only getting rocky and hairy as 2021 going to roll in. If there's going to be another shutdown, it's going to be very hard. It's going to be very hard for a while. So just got to make this stretch and, be smart with it. Those who are unemployment, you get $300 on top of your whatever your unemployment payment was. So, that's dope. Those who get SNAP and things like that, there's $13 billion in there for that. And I think that's, people who need that should get it. $82 billion for colleges and schools. So are they going to be finally cutting some college loans. Like what is that for? How does that roll down to the people? That's all I want to know. And 10 billion for childcare assistance, which is dope. I hope young ladies who need childcare assistance actually get their hands on this funds. Or people who have to work during COVID actually get their, and have different centers and stuff that they take their kids to. Those centers will be able to stay open now, and the funds will be there for that. So all dope, all dope, all good. I'm a fan of all that. I'm a fan of all that. I'm a fan of all that. So this is his ghetto point of view, guys. Thank you guys so much for listening. Please make sure to like, share, subscribe. Shout out to Anchor.fm where we get to it. You know what I mean? You can catch us when you're not catching us on Anchor, on Spotify, also on the Google, Amazon, and Apple platforms for podcasting, and dope places anywhere where dope podcasts are shared and used to enlighten, inspire, get people angry, riled up, kicking doors down and burning shit. It's your boy Phantm Phuego. You can catch me, IG, Instagram. Hit me there. Also Facebook, Snapchat. Check out the HGPOV page on IG, the His Ghetto Point of View page on IG, the HGPOV show page on IG. We out here, man. We doing it. Thank you guys so much for rocking with us as always. We really appreciate it. I really appreciate it. You have no idea how much I appreciate it. I hope your week goes amazing. I hope you don't let things get to you too much, because we warriors. As things get crazy, we still keep climbing toward our crowns and our kingdom and our queendoms. You understand? Have a great one. Get to it. Keep pushing. Peace.